And welcome to the Know Something Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. And here's your duo of host, starting with Romina with the good hair beaming in from the Starship Enterprise, and of course, your Dark Lord of the Interwebs beaming in from his man cave at an undisclosed location, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the Know Something Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like, subscribe, review, and do all the things.
Careful not to dox yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it's funny, Romina, is like I think this podcast could easily pivot, which is not an unusual pivot for it to be a lot more, let's say, tech focused. We've talked a lot about tech and figures in tech a lot. And I think we can still do weird, nerdy things a lot of the time. But I think a lot of the most interesting conversations we in the audience have ever had are focused around these evolutions in tech and social media. And I think it just all overlaps.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a plan, it's an idea, but
yeah, it's an idea. I mean, I think we're technically doing it without realizing it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was just like, yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, every fourth episode of the podcast seems to bring up Elon Musk. So,
I mean, if you look at our channel and you look at the thumbnails, then yeah, there's a lot of Elon.
But I mean, he's the most interesting man in the world for a lot of reasons, but he's really doing a lot of the most interesting things in tech all over the world. He's constantly in the news, and the news around tech and polarization. I mean, now they're investigating his company Neuralink.
They're investigating it. Why?
Yeah, they're investigating Neuralink. Well, you know why. It's because he bought Twitter. They wouldn't care otherwise.
But I mean, what is the investigation?
They're claiming some type of impropriety, and they're looking into the test subjects as far as animals that may have perished into, and looking at ethics concerns around the animals that may have perished in testing and something like that. It's and okay, fine, but we're literally talking about technology that is going to restore the limbs and the full function and mobility of veterans who have lost limbs in the service of, preserving freedom in the world, restoring people's eyesight and hearing, giving people who've been disabled cognitive functions back. This is okay, and you we're gonna go and worry about PETA shit. Okay, humans come first. Humanity first.
Yeah, I mean, I see where they're coming from, because I love animals.
Yeah, I love animals. I love people more, theoretically. I can be convinced to change my mind, but I can be convinced to change my mind.
Well, okay. Well, the thing is that there are a lot of products that have been animal tested in the past, and is the reason that they're at the level that they're at right now, and where they can afford to make more products without animal testing, but because they've already done the dirty work.
Well, here's the thing, and we have a note in the chat. So Chris in the chat says they thinks there's a report that over 1,500 animals have perished in the trial phases of Neuralink, and I'm not celebrating that. I'm not championing that. I'm not applauding that. It's super sad. But on the other hand, if someone you know and love who is disabled or an amputee or a veteran can walk again, and if 100 people like them can walk again, how many animals is the minimum price that we're willing to pay? Animals are going to perish to feed people, stop starvation, do all kinds of things, and they're also going to perish in the wild. So if that's going to happen, and nothing and no one lives forever, but you can increase and enhance the quality of life of people who are struggling, suffering, in pain, and increase the quality of life for them and their families, how many animals is not worth that? Or how many, or are we going, or is there a number where you say, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm sorry, fellows, you can't have this quality of life improvement because the price is too high in these animals that have a fraction of your lifespan?
Well, I guess the question is every individual human worth.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. If the difference was between, like, you know, I had my mother recently had, you know, the surgery that restored her eyesight.
Yeah.
How many animals do you think I'm willing to slaughter if the choice is my mother being blind for the remaining years of her life versus being able to see me and see the rest of her children and experience the world with the vision that she was born with? How many animals do you think I'm willing to slaughter if the difference is between my mother being blind and not?
Probably a lot.
Yeah. It's like, and guess what? Any reasonable, decent human being should very easily be able to make that decision.
Right.
But that's just me.
But that's when it's close to home, right?
But I'm saying that's what people should imagine when they want to deny people life-saving and quality of life opportunities and
wouldn't you
surgeries. They
argue
should imagine that.
Isn't that the same argument for masks? Where people
No, because the difference was that the documentation is that it only actually is preventative, and this came from the CDC and Fauci, and this is also logic that has existed forever. Masks stop an infected. You know why they've been wearing masks in Asia for decades? It's because when you get sick, and this is something that they would actually, some people in
prevent
America
other
did this,
people to get sick.
when you are already sick,
Right.
you're not spreading those things to other people.
Right.
It's for that. It's for the exhaling. It's not for the inhaling. Masks were not preventative in that way. And the thing is, the best masks to prevent anything were N95 masks, which they didn't want to make that the narrative because, and like, no, this is not COVID misinformation. This is literally the CDC. Check the timeline. Check the freaking timeline.
Well, without
but also
going
ask
into
any
the
medical person who
of
worked
it.
in your nursing. Like my mom worked in nursing. Everybody's like this is common sense, and this is
But
facts for decades
say,
and decades and decades.
Wouldn't you say that it is in the same line of argument? The same, it's the same kind of perspective from people who want to protect their individuals, their grandmothers, their kids, etc.
Well, not really, because the thing is, because we're talking about the development of a technology that will be valuable and expanded upon for centuries, not a novelty moment in time. We're talking about human quality of life into millennia from now through technological advance. It'd be like saying the price is too high for us to invent penicillin. The price is too high for us to cure cancer or AIDS or polio. It's ridiculous. That's a very different argument in terms of developing a life-saving technology versus a day-to-day micro action where there's not an alternative to addressing and solving that problem to a point. And the thing is, if it actually did prevent the thing, that'd be different, but that's not what it does. And in the same way that we all agree, like I got the vaccine, plenty of people got the vaccine, but they were, that's going to stop the spreading it. No, it doesn't. You still get infected. You still get the disease.
But we're still talking about a hypothetical situation, right? Where we're saying we are hypothesizing that Neuralink is capable of, let's say, helping your mother, right? Or any other individual in your family.
Yeah. That's the mission of Neuralink.
Right. And in return, the cost of that is the life of an animal or two.
We've spent millions of animal lives for less.
Right. Now, so what's our goal with this? Where are we going with this? Wait, I thought you were going somewhere with this. But
well, this is a general argument. Like it ties to the AI. Like, okay, so this is like the evils of technology. Ooh, technology evil, technology bad. Right. There's always something or some cost to progress. There's always some cost to progress. There's always something sacrificed, and there's always. And that's how it is throughout all of human history. No progress comes without sacrifice, without consequence, without displacement. If you look at the technology that evolved for the Industrial Revolution and human civilization, that put people out of work back then. That's why there's the folklore. Tall John Henry, steel driving man, died beating the steam engine, and guess what? Progress rolled on. A man can do it, like the strongest man in the world, and he dies trying. It's like to make a point. And the thing is, he ultimately beat the steam engine, but he lost the war. Progress marched on. We don't have steel driving men out there with hammers anymore. It doesn't make sense. Right. And the thing is, in the long run, that's actually better for more humans. So the thing is, there's always some, there's some consequence to progress. There's some consequence to technology. And the minority of people are displaced by it, and the majority of people's lives are bettered and enhanced by it, which now comes up to the controversial argument is, does AI steal from artists? And the thing is, when we explore this topic and we talk about fair use, what most people will concede on a long enough argument or timeline is that's not actually stealing from them in terms of their artwork, even though that's the initial moral argument. The fear is that it's actually stealing their livelihood. And the thing is, I'm as pro content creator, pro, creative professional as it gets, but you can't demonize this technology. It doesn't make any more sense than demonizing manual print production professionals and typesetters getting displaced by graphic design software. It doesn't make any more sense than dark rooms and photo labs going out of business and dying to digital cameras. It doesn't make any more sense to cry about this than that. And people go, no, it's different. No, it's different. And I would argue it's not.
I think it's the evolution of content creation.
I agree. And I don't think that I think we're decades, possibly 2 decades away from it truly being able to truly accurately, like right now, if I share with you some stuff from that I'm doing with Mid-Journey for like AI art, right? Here's the thing. It does cool stuff. Romina, can you share that on screen? So this does really cool stuff, and this is really great art, and it's generated in like minutes or seconds versus tens of hours from an artist. But here's the cool thing about this. This only works because I'm not asking it to do anything that involves hands. Because when it comes to hands, it'll give you like 12 fingers. It'll give you weird fingers. It doesn't know how many fingers to do. It's really weird, and it can't always get accurate details. And look at the difference sometimes in quality between similar prompts. So the thing is, it's not as accurate. And the thing is, I can't go back and ask this thing for like revisions on the exact artwork the way that I could with a human being. So it can't really replace working with a human being for what you get working with a human being. I look at this similar to the fact that, yes, automation and robots are going to displace probably 60% of human labor in our lifetime, and a lot of retail work and a lot of clerical work. What it's not going to replace is people who do extraordinarily nuanced detail work like the trades. It will not replace plumbers, electricians, and so on. And those people as laborers get paid more than a person in a warehouse anyway. So that person just has to qualify for the opportunity to be a higher paid labor, which they could do today without having to be killed off by the technology. So like you're the argument of, oh, well, it's taking away my job. It's like, but it's enhancing everything better for the human race if people are getting it better, faster, safer, and with less accidents and less deaths and all these things. So even in labor is going to die to automation and robots. And that's going to cost a lot more jobs than art and the art market. And the art market, in my opinion, is not going to be destroyed by AI artwork and robots and artificial intelligence. I would argue that the things, as the person who actually has paid thousands of dollars this year to commission artists, the stuff I get from an AI generator is not something I'm willing to pay an artist to do. The stuff that I pay my artist to do is not something that the AI can do for me, not accurately and not to my taste, because I'm paying for the specificity, the nuances, the revisions, the changes, and the source files. So the things that I want to pay for, which is the experience of working with an artist, the revisions, the ability for them to build on what we've previously done to my taste and to my stuff. I cannot do that with AI. And even with the money and years they're going to put in, they're not going to do it to give me high resolution, print ready files and source materials and all of those things. They're not going to do that. They're not going to give me Photoshop editable files. A digital artist or designer is going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to give me vector AI or EPS files. They're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to give me the fonts so I can modify it myself. And like, it's not that AI cannot do that. So it does not have the ability to replace the commercial applications for which artists are commissioned. When we're talking about serious commissions, it might replace the people who are doing crap for $20.
The Fivers.
Not even the Fivers. On Fiverr, I pay hundreds of dollars for art.
Well, yeah, but because you're paying for that tier, but you can find $5, $10.
But I'm saying it's gonna
Fiverr.
it's gonna displace the lowest tier.
Yeah,
And that's what technology does.
Right.
Technology replaces the lowest tier of performers in the market. So this is a market argument of if you're valuable enough and you can value add. And literally the only thing anyone have to value add was at literally upcharge for editable source files, and your problems are solved because AI cannot provide it.
You know what's great is that this has created a whole new market for people. And there are actually companies out there right now that sell prompts.
Yeah.
So imagine you're trying to get something from a particular
so many good prompts.
AI, from a particular AI platform. But you're not very good at the whole prompts thing. And you don't have time to try to figure out how this technology works, but you still want to be able to
$5,
use it.
5 prompts, boom.
You can just buy prompts.
$5, 5 prompts.
And there are
$100 in a day.
And there are companies that have like subscription services now too, right? Where it's just like, we'll deliver X amount of prompts every month, every week, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this is a whole new business, but also an opportunity for writers, an opportunity for creatives, an opportunity for people who have imaginations, have this imagination.
This is going to help my artists, the artist I hire. This is going to help them because I'm going to stop wasting their time on revisions because I'm going to be able to conceptualize shit and just say, hey, give me something very close to this, and then let's work on it just a little bit. Let's tweak it just a little bit. And now they're going to be like, oh, he's not going to pull this. I know it when I see it crap because he can do that with the AI.
Isn't it amazing to be able to get the same results in half the time?
I'm gonna actually prove that right now. Romina, share my screen. I'm going to use this for conceptualization right now in a way that's probably relevant to our audience. For the audio listeners, whenever we finally get that, whenever we finally get back to audio stuff, I
guess we'll have to figure that out since Audrey is
on
MIA.
hiatus. She's on hiatus. And that's cool. We love you, Audrey. We miss you. The big thing is we miss Audrey. She'll be back. She's just like overworking right now.
Yeah. Can we get an AI Audrey?
I would need a reference photo and then I'd have to go through a lot
so we need an AI Audrey and then we'll just have like a placeholder of her.
But I'm going to show you something. I can use this to conceptualize a YouTube thumbnail that gets me, and the thing, I can't use this YouTube thumbnail, by the way, but what it means is I can go into Photoshop and then I can go, oh, you know what? Now I have a layout, or I know I can get
well, it gives you a head start.
Yeah, I know. Oh, wait, you know what? I can get closer to an idea for something. Like I'll give you, so I'm going to do this imagine / prompt. I'm going to copy and paste a prompt I already have and then modify it. I'm going to tell it, I want a tech unboxing channel thumbnail. And I gave it like all my parameters. And so when it starts working on this, which is literally going to take it like maybe a minute or two.
Yeah. We're going to start seeing the images appear.
Yeah. So like once it does that, once it ends up generating that, the cool thing about this is, no, I can't end up using this YouTube thumbnail because it's not an editable file. It's not going to work for me in Photoshop. But here's what it's going to do. It's going to give me the art direction that will allow me to say, this is the pose I might want to do. This is how I might want to angle these shots. And look at this. It's already giving me, all right, this is the angle, lighting, aesthetic I should probably use for like the boxes. Like that's
Mhm.
actually a really cool. Oh, like okay, I could stage that one in the top right corner. I could stage that with my product table and
Right.
say, okay, I should put lights in the background like this. I should even consider lighting it like this. I should like angle it like this. And it's like, so this already gives me art direction. This
Right.
gives me
It's a
really good art direction.
proven composition.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So now, oh, I've got really good art direction. If I take this prompt and I say, you know what? Um, give me, I could literally tell like a beauty, I could type in thumbnail design and I could type in um beauty channel. And what it'll do is if I was working as a thumbnail artist or even a photographer for a female influencer, I'd be able
Mhm.
to give her good art direction, set up the photography, set up the lights, and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is how the unboxing stuff came out." And I could also click this and say, "Give me a variation, try that again," like, and it'll use the prompt and it'll try again. So I could like come up with art direction, and the thing is, I can't necessarily
Yep.
use what it created here, but I can recreate this and say, okay, this is my how I'm framing this stuff. This is how I'm lighting this stuff. I can go ahead and I can have
Mhm.
great art direction. And the thing is also, if I don't have assets or that fit my imagination, let's say there's a video game and I have assets. This is the beauty stuff that's coming out. So guess what? Boom. This is like, oh, this is exactly how I should light and frame this stuff for a beauty channel. This is like, aha, you know?
Right. So,
And I have like tons of examples of this, by the way. But yeah, but see, that's
mhm.
my point. I mean, look at this. I can make really dope YouTube thumbnails off of being able. This is some CGI artwork that I like decided to come up with, and you can make really good thumbnails for video games for characters if there's not like actual graphics of the character like Zelda or Samus doing what you want, you can generate it.
Right. Mhm.
So like you can make conceptual. Look at this. I could use this just for photo and text lockups for a YouTube video. I could use this to say that's how my camera channel stuff should look. That's how I should put the object in frame, and I can just light it differently with RGB lighting or something like that. Oh, this is
Mhm.
how I should pose and crop my face for my photos for my thumbnails or something like that. Or I could use one of these as a placeholder, or I'm like, okay, those are the graphics that I'm going to make or generate for my background, or oh, this is how I'm going to do my type lockups and layouts for YouTube thumbnail. You see what I'm saying? I can
Yep.
use this purely for art direction. I don't have to um you know, like
Yeah.
use the actual renders. I could just use it as inspiration
Inspiration.
and storyboarding and mood boarding to make something.
In another application, I used Midjourney a few months ago to help me conceptualize a short story that I was writing, and it follows an android as the main character, and so I put in some prompts according to the story and kind of setting that I had put into place for the short story into Midjourney, and I created some concept art around this character and the setting. And that really helped me to flesh out the details of what I was writing for the short story.
Mm.
So I think that's another application as well where it doesn't even have to be a visual medium. Like
Oh, you mean
the
like
destination doesn't have to be a visual medium. It could be writing, right? Or music. But to be able to visualize it for someone who is like me, who's very visual, being able to see it, right, helps with the with the expanding of the idea in the medium that you want it to be in. So
I
something
didn't even type
else.
in right correctly, but like here it is giving me the prompts for 15 reasons to use Adobe Premiere Pro. Um,
Mhm.
so it's writing my YouTube video.
Yeah. So this is just to give some context because you kind of jumped into the next thing. Uh we were still talking about the AI art. So this is OpenAI's
Yep,
um
Chat GTP.
GPT. And so I was playing with this earlier, and I actually came up with a bunch of tweets. And so I have my scheduled content until January based on
That's
stuff
brilliant.
that I got from
What did you
this.
type in as a prompt to?
So I got different topics, which are the different topics that I cover on my on my Twitter. And so I just told it to do exactly what you just did here, where it's just like 10 tweets or like 15 tweets, etc. on this topic, right? And then just write 10 tweets on how to be a better content creator. Yep.
This is good. This is really good. So, like, I'll read you guys some of the tweets. It's got always be authentic and true to yourself in your content. Your audience will appreciate it and connect with your unique voice. Easy tweet. Research and plan your content in advance to ensure it's informative, accurate, and engaging. Use compelling visuals such as images, videos to enhance your content and grab your audience. This is easy.
Yeah. So this is like literally just copy and pasting, and then maybe just tweaking a couple things, changing the format of like how so that it's not just sentences, and making it look a little more Twitter friendly.
So here's what I could do from a content standpoint that no one's even really, I don't think, considered. I could combine these pretty easily by like having all these prompts, then switching over to Midjourney, and then creating and rendering a visual that accompanies these that is aesthetically pleasing as a graphic. And then I've literally done. But the thing is, I had to conceptualize. I mean, it's not like it's, oh, well, now you're just getting out of like working. It's like I could come up with these things, but now it's right in front of me here's my thesis. Here is now an execution or manifestation of that thesis. And here it is. And that's not a bad thing. And that's actually, again, to be fair, that's no different than having a content team. You're just having a robot instead. Because when you think about it, here's the thing. YouTubers are very talented, and content creators in general, podcasters, TikTokers, all very talented. Now, I want you to remember that we still often get less views in some categories than mainstream media folks. And what do mainstream media folks do? No shade, no tea. But what do? They perform and read content that someone else wrote. The writer's room made that stuff for them. They're performing jokes they didn't write. They're under lighting they didn't, key grip themselves. They're being filmed with a camera they're not operating, that they don't have any idea how it works. You see what I'm saying? Everything you see in the mainstream media, every television show, every movie, every newscaster, it's all contrived. They're not doing all the work from scratch. YouTubers do that. Now, but bedroom YouTubers do that. But then look at someone like a Mr. Beast or someone else. They have 20, 30
teams.
people. They have teams. They have 20, 30 people. They have writers, directors, camera operators. They have all these people, researchers, people doing the logistics, people do it, and they're doing the performance. And I'm not taking away from doing the performance, but I'm saying if you're already a content creator and the main thing that people are watching you for is the performance,
right?
What's the problem?
Guess what, Roberto? That also is the strategy for most politicians on Twitter as well.
Facts. True.
So Michael actually wrote a little prompt for you. And so it says, write a video script in the style of Roberto Blake about topic, including information about Y and Z, using 1,000 to 1,100 characters. Reference the following script for tone and voice. Enter script. So
I can get pretty close to that. I'm not going to give it a specific script to reference, but I can actually get pretty.
Well, the thing is that if you put a specific script from a previous work of yours, so you don't have to like do this right now, but what Michael is saying is that you can do that so that it matches your voice.
Can I give it a URL?
Yeah, you can give it a URL.
Okay, watch
so
this.
That it like your website, right? So that it matches your tone and your voice, so that it creates content that would fit into that ecosystem.
Okay, and I'm going to give it reference following script for tone and voice. And then for entering that script, what I'll just do is youtube.com/Roberto Blake. Well, /@Roberto Blake. We'll just
wait. Don't you have a blog post Just link to one of your blog posts.
Well, I guess I could. What I'll do is I'll grab a blog post that I did on LinkedIn.
Because
that's fairly recent. That's easy to grab. Yeah, no, this is genius. So view profile. And then I'll just grab come on. Perfect. And then enter script.
Christopher, I have not seen Notion AI's capabilities. I'm not sure I know what that is.
Oh, wow.
See this. Hey, everyone, it's Roberto Blake here.
I'll read it. I'll do it. Hey, everybody, it's Roberto Blake here, and I want to talk to you about the power of social media and YouTube. As we all know, YouTube is one of the biggest platforms out there for creators to share their content and connect with their audience. But it's not just about the views and subscribers. It's about the community and the connections you make. Through social media, you can connect with like-minded people, share your passions, and grow your personal brand. It's valuable. It's a valuable tool for creators, businesses, and individuals alike. But with great power comes great responsibility. It's important to use social media and YouTube in a way that is authentic, engaging, and respectful to others. So whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, remember to use these platforms wisely and make the most of their potential. Thanks for watching. As always, keep creating. Peace. Wow, it's pretty close. It was pretty damn close. I could change a couple of things. It's pretty damn close. My God, really came close.
That could be a short.
Yeah, almost. I could actually use this specifically for the purposes of YouTube Shorts, to be honest with you. I could literally use this to script my YouTube Shorts. And it is kind of creepy. That is creepy as hell. Now, we could take this even further. I don't have it queued up, so I don't think it'll work. But just keep in mind, I also have Descript, and I pay for Descript, and I've fed it 3 hours of my voice. It can do over voice dubbing and clone my voice. So I've already cloned my voice, and I'm still training it. I might train it with 10 hours because it only recommends you need 30 minutes. I've given it 3 hours. Imagine if I give it 10 hours, it'll be able to perfectly clone my voice if I give it 10 hours of training with my voice from long form content. So now we'll have the ability to overdub my voice, generate scripts, and on top of that,
you've made yourself into a Siri.
We're getting close. Because think about it like this.
Right.
We can't get perfect AI thumbnails for me yet, but what we can do is there's assets that could get now here's the thing. If I had a faceless, let's say I do a faceless channel, or better yet, primary example, if I did a faceless channel, then it's game over because I could literally generate the whole thing with artificial intelligence.
Right. Yeah.
I could generate a faceless channel with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, you know Eugene. Eugene has a channel that he just started a month ago with someone else, and it is a faceless channel, and he's completely doing it with AI. So he's it's a music channel.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's got 1,000 subscribers. I think it's qualified for monetization.
Almost. So he's got a couple hundred subs, and he's got almost the 4,000 minutes that he needs.
4,000 hours.
For hours, sorry. And he has, I think, almost 30,000 to 37,000 views, something like that. Again, this is just in the last month.
It's like 30. Yeah,
this is just
in the last month.
Just in the last month.
On a 12-month timeline, they absolutely get to the 12-month monetization mark.
And it's
no,
absolutely. And the art, the thumbnail, the art that's in the actual video, the music, and the metadata is all generated through AI. So he can pop out 3 or 4 videos a day.
Yeah.
Which is precisely what he's doing.
And that is how you really just climb that monetization ladder, to be honest with you. Because that's what's going to do it. Real talk. That's what's going to do it. My music channel still needs 1,300 hours, 1,300 hours to be a little less than that to be monetized. So,
Mhm.
we're slowly getting it. We're slowly getting it. Getting about good 20 hours a day. So we're slowly getting it now that I'm uploading there again. But I know that in a year with an AI channel, an AI faceless channel, and the thing is, it wouldn't have to be a music channel. It could literally be any subject matter. It could be a franchise. It could be Harry Potter. And with AI voice dubbing, and I could even run that through a voice changer if I don't want it to be recognizable as my voice. But it's like I could use, it'll be a natural voice. It'd be mine. Then I just use a voice changer. There we go. One more filter. And the AI artwork, I can use the AI artwork and use that as like stills to overlay like a Harry Potter channel, because I could just generate Harry Potter fan art for all the thumbnails and Harry Potter fan art for all of the background art to talk over it. And it could literally just be fan fiction.
Yeah.
Or I could do a creepypasta channel, use AI music for the creepypasta channel, have the AI help me generate new creepypastas or new spins on creepypastas. And I could generate, and it'd be original content and no one could say otherwise. Which is actually a really good idea.
So I do use Notion, but I haven't looked into their AI stuff, Christopher.
Yeah. But yeah, I could literally start a creepypasta channel.
No. And the thing about this too is that those channels, right, because of the whole paranormal aspect of it, those channels always pop.
And the thumbnails
when it's faceless, they always pop because it's the whole paranormal thing.
Yep.
And so it's just the more elusive it is, the better.
Yeah. And the thing is, I can generate that paranormal artwork really easily. I think I actually have some somewhere in my actually, yes, I do. Like Romina, can you pop up my screen real quick?
Yep.
This is some nightmare fuel for people though.
Oh my god, why?
That's some nightmare fuel right there, right?
That's actually really cool. I like this.
So I can.
So what is the story behind this? Can you?
This one is more. So the context here is I have a Lovecraftian creature, and the prompt I gave it was portrait, close up, Lovecraft creature, dark, realistic, color grading, photography, dark, cinematic lighting, HDR, ray tracing, reflections, DOF, which is depth of field, facing forward, details, CGI, cinematic lighting, ultra detailed. And what it gave me was this thing with like a mandible type mouth, very elongated. No nose, slit like structures and stuff like that.
Glowing eyes,
glowing sunk in eyes, ridges where eyebrows would be, and it has a very insectoid like feel to it, and it's creepy as hell.
And it's 3D.
As 3D rendered realistic, it looks like you would be staring this thing down in a movie and be like, "Oh, I'm backing the hell up."
It looks like
very
good concept art for a blockbuster.
Exactly, it looks like concept art for a blockbuster. So if I use this as a thumbnail for a paranormal type style video or an alien abduction video, that's another good faceless channel, is alien abduction stories. So if I do this and then I have a voiceover dub for like alien abduction stories, it's the kind of thing that will get clicks and will get views.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see that. And the thing is too that like you can get creative with it and write lore. And that can be so much fun, you know? I think there's a lot of possibility here for and I feel like this is the evolution of content creation.
I do too, because here's the thing, Romina. I think there are people that are very bad at certain aspects of content creation. And I think that for everyone who sucks at thumbnails, Midjourney is the answer for everyone who sucks at thumbnails, because then they have to be good at conceptualization and prompts. So it's not that there's no skill. And then They just, all right, you suck at Photoshop. If that's the thing holding you back as a YouTuber, this is an answer. And I think that's actually better for content creators. And I think that's better for, it's like there's not some artist that was going to, within a budget for somebody who's a new YouTuber, be able to do this for them and give them the thing that they need. That's because that's what's holding small YouTubers back, is they make really bad thumbnails a lot of time. They pour their heart and soul into a video and they can't do anything about it because it's a bad thumbnail. So there's that part of it. There are people who are not comfortable to be on camera, but they don't have any good footage, or they can't afford, a really good stock video site. Shout out to Storyblocks or something, which I don't think is that expensive. But if they can, then they could generate a couple of these and use them and put voiceover and maybe use stills. And that's a place to at least start, make some money, and then start paying for some things. So I think that that's invaluable. Or if you are going to try to get something, like I have a younger sister who wants to be a VTuber. She's looking at designs and stuff like that. I can literally type in character design stuff into Midjourney, and she'd be able to at least have something to begin to look at, to start to say, I like this, I have this an idea, and not waste an artist she hires time and say, hey, get me 90% of this, and here are the 10% of differences I want. Now she's not wasting an artist's time with this. I know it when I see it, or settling or being disappointed. So she could use it for art direction and character design, get to a certain place. There are some people that are very good at drawing, but they're very bad at ideation. They could use this for prompts to get them there. Graphic designers could use this for prompts to get a concept that a client will approve of, and then execute on the bloody concept and stop having their time wasted.
Yeah. I feel like this is, if you think about it, it is a way for artists to, first of all, like you said, it's a way to get their foot in the door, and it's a way to kickstart their brand, their career, their craft. And it isn't so much that they don't necessarily have to use it completely and have that be their entire brand.
No,
More
it could
so
be a
they
tool. It could be
just use it.
supplemental.
Exactly. It's a tool. It's a supplement.
I don't see it differently than if I could conjure an inspiration-based art book that would take whatever's in my head and give me four ideas around what's in my head, so that I even know if what's in my head is a good idea and is worth executing on. And even, well, here's what a good or a decent execution of your idea looks like. And then I can tell somebody, take this 20% further, and they have a base. They have a base. Because, by the way, here's something I'll point out. Because a lot of people go, oh, we'll just hire artists, just hire artists. Do you realize, comparatively to what we saw Midjourney do? Because I'll give it credit for something. Midjourney does a better job of doing realistic art, renders, CGI art, and also renders and even anime style artwork of people of color and Black people and brown people specifically, that I've ever seen. The majority of artists on DeviantArt, the majority of artists that I've ever commissioned on Fiverr, a lot of people are just not good at drawing Black folks. I hate to break it to y'all. That's the truth. So the thing is, I can get a lot better stuff sometimes out of this AI generator than I could ever pay for if I wanted to. And then the thing is, even if I still want to pay someone to make it custom, to make it my own, and to pay an artist, at least they have a reference now. And they can't just say, oh, there's not any good references for what I'm asking for. Because now there's good references for what I'm asking for. And people will be like, do not consider that there's more upsides to all of this than there is downsides. The downsides are for the people at the very, 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 very bottom of the market. And the answer for them is step your game up and add more value or offer more services.
Right, because there's the demand is low for your low quality work. When I first was designing my little chibi RedRomina that I use for my brand, I designed the first iteration of it, which was the reference image. And this was many years ago, and I designed it in Photoshop, and it took me a very long time to do, because I'm not a face doodler. I do other kind of art, and I'm not doing faces is not my thing. But I knew that I wanted my face and that I wanted it to be cute. And so I did like this super rudimentary thing, and I was really proud of it. even though it was awful, but I was super proud of it. But also, it took me very, very like hours to do. And this was just like a reference image that I then gave to an artist. And as soon as I gave it to her, because she's an expert, she was able to convert it into like a super cute chibi version, which is what I use now in my brand. Could have cut down all of those hours into just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If I had
And that's
just
the
had
big thing.
access to AI.
That's the thing. I even think for YouTube thumbnail artists, this is going to be a tool to say I can get to layouts faster. I
Right.
can come up with more
The
ideas
framing,
for
the concept
framing,
art.
or
I can offer this to
or
my
I'm not,
client,
or I don't,
right?
and they can
Yep.
approve something before I
Yep.
waste time.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I can go into a genre that I wouldn't normally go into because now I have references for the genre.
Right.
So like all of a sudden, if you're someone who like you don't, okay, wow, I'm working with a vegan content creator now, blah blah blah, you now could figure that out in a way that you might not have been able to before if all you worked was with beauty vloggers or tech gurus or what have you. Again, for product and conceptual photography, you can go ahead and you can lay certain things out, and you can also generate like people to use as placeholders to show a concept. If you're working mostly on the background or the typography, now you have a gallery of people, and you can have a gallery of people of different ethnicities and hairstyles and things like that, so that you have a point of reference to be able to say, okay, when I'm working with someone like this, I know what lighting effects to put on them. I know what I'm doing because I have decent references, you know. Or for people, again, when it comes to the photography aspect, look at some of these renders I did of cars. For one thing, I can use these renders of cars for different
Ooh,
things.
those are
By the way, also
cool.
the clowns for
Yeah,
creepypasta
let's
stuff.
not. Yeah, let's not look at the
No
clown.
more nightmare fuel.
Can you scroll? Can you scroll so you don't have to see that? Thank
But look at
you.
this for like this car. This is like, this is
Yo,
this is dope. You can build all
that
kinds of assets to use. I have
I
more
love
monsters here.
the contrast lighting on that one.
Yeah, contrast and dynamic light, and then you see all my cool anime stuff. I have some
Yeah.
really good anime concepts. I typed in give me an anime girl. Now what it failed to do in this case was it did better on another prompt for this, because I asked it for giving me an anime girl surrounded by paper cranes. I specifically asked it for a black anime girl, so it did better with this one, for example. But I love this, but I don't love the cropped. Now I could
Right.
go to an artist and say, give me a better crop, but also it doesn't do good with hands. It gave me too many fingers here. Not that someone would notice this in a YouTube thumbnail. So I can make this pretty good, and this can work for me,
Right. You
but
can
it's
also,
not.
if you know Photoshop, you can fix some of those fingers.
I can fix some of these things in Photoshop. But here's what I
Yeah.
can do with this. I could save this, and I can go to an animator for
Right.
$500, $600, and I can say, give me a 5-second animated loop. And this is what I want, is I want these paper cranes flying around this
Flying.
girl, and I want a seamless loop. And now all of a sudden I have the best execution of what that should look like from an ideation standpoint. I have
Right.
perfect art direction now. I now have perfect art direction. I can say, and hey, I don't want it cropped like this. I do like that she's a black girl with pigtails wearing a black and white school uniform. I love the noir look here. I love that there's also this thing going on behind her to where it looks like she might even have wings herself from these paper cranes. And I love, these two like ravens or crows that are here. So I'm like, do this, but also this. So it's a
Enhance.
base art direction. For those of you, what I'm describing is there's a black anime girl wearing a black and white, very formal Asian school uniform, and she's surrounded by flying, folded, detailed paper cranes. And
she's
it's
got
dope.
praying hands on her chest.
And she's got praying hands in the right. And it's brilliant. It's like, huh. I wouldn't have necessarily thought of that vision when I typed in black anime girl surrounded by paper cranes. I wouldn't have necessarily but now I have this perfect. Now I can go to artists that I've used on Fiverr and say, give me 5 seconds of animation of this for like the 500 bones or whatever. If I want 15 seconds, I think it's like 1,000 bones, but it's like $1,000. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, the price is just, I really like what it did with the
Yeah.
kind of like the peach color,
Yeah.
like leaves, like the little
Yeah.
things that are floating
Yeah, almost like
around.
cherry blossoms because
Yeah, it's like a
anime.
really nice contrast with the
Black and
monochromatic.
white aesthetic.
Yeah, the palette is it's a really nice, it's a nice
Yeah.
composition. But yeah, it sucks that it cropped off the
Yeah.
head at the
Or I
bust.
can go for 120 bones. I can
Mhm.
go for 120 bones
Yeah.
to the person who drew my black anime girl character for the Lo-Fi channel, and he will make me a print quality poster version of this.
Mhm. Yeah.
He might charge me a little bit more, maybe 200, but then I have that and I can sell that. And the thing is, for this quality, oh, that'll sell as merch.
The
That'll
thing
sell.
is, here's the thing. I feel like this kind of thing, it helps people to work less.
Yeah.
And isn't that what everybody
Even the
wants?
people we're paying, even all these people that says, oh, we're going to put
Right.
all these people out of work. No, we're going to
Right.
put the best people onto
No,
more
it's
work and
just
it's going to be faster for them. Here's another
right.
anime girl, and this one's great, in a classroom holding a notebook, and
I
then
like the
here's all these
lighting.
paper cranes, and the
This
lighting is
is
great.
really nice lighting too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of depth to this one, and
Yeah.
also I like that it actually shows it in a setting,
Yeah.
as opposed to the other one that just kind of looks like it's in a, like a
Silhouetted type.
studio
Yeah.
backdrop. But this looks like it's in a school or
Oh,
a
this
library or
this
something.
on my lo-fi channel as a background
Yeah.
while I just let,
No, this is
things happen. Oh, yeah, this is gonna
yeah.
win. This is gonna
This
crush it.
is this is very chill.
Yeah, this is gonna get clicks. This is gonna get clicks. This
It
is gonna
just
get
sucks
what
that she has like 10 fingers on each hand.
but the thing is, on a YouTube thumbnail, I don't think anyone's gonna notice, and even on the background of the thing, I
Right.
don't think anyone's gonna notice.
But like I said, I mean,
But
this
that's
is
also
like,
why it's not perfect. That's why I can't commercial grade. I cannot
I
use
mean,
the
this
AI
can
artwork for commercial grade work.
right. I mean, this can also be fixed.
Yeah.
The fingers can be fixed. That's like super minor.
Yeah, I think so. I think in Photoshop, I could technically probably get away with heel brush and clone stamp
Yeah,
and
I mean, you
maybe
can
get to something
easily fix
reasonable.
that. Just patch that up.
Yeah, I think, yeah. It's a little bit more effort, but yeah, I can patch that up. Yeah.
Or you can pay somebody else to patch it up.
Or I can pay someone else to patch it up and they probably do it for $10.
Yep.
10, $15.
I don't think it's that difficult to do. I mean, people fix.
It depends on how precise you want to get, but for a YouTube thumbnail, not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
Michael B.
something
Isbell
that
says, okay, he'd throw it in Procreate and have it ready in
can have
5
it right
minutes.
5 minutes.
So guess what? He has a business now. He can fix
He has a
your
business.
AI generated artwork.
I'll fix your AI art.com.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Michael, get the domain name quick before Roberto does.
Fivefingerfixes.com because it's like
Finger fixes.
yeah, because it's all you gotta do is fix the damn hands in AI art. Like fivefingerfixes.com.
Actually, Michael did bring something up way earlier, but we were talking about other stuff, but I want to go back to it, which was talking about the artists who are complaining.
Okay.
So Michael had said something about that he made the analogy of it being like artists, like an artist complaining about Procreate and saying that it would destroy canvas painters.
Well, people used to complain, if you remember, that people thought stock images were stealing from photographers and artists.
Yeah.
Templates were stealing from photographers and artists or putting them out of business, or that's lazy and that only original this, only original. Now templates are the way of the world and everybody sucks it up. And like even artists have gotten in on it, me included. And templates are now the thing. It was always, there's always some cry. They cried about this with NFTs too, of like, oh, like real art is this, the real art is that. There was this outcry of digital versus traditional for years. Digital artists were scum. It's always this crying. It's always this crying.
The crying.
It's always crying.
Or
I'm being replaced. I'm being displaced. It's
or the Photoshop artists, the one who grab assets from different places and then create
photo manipulation. Photo manipulation was demonized.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's not. It's fake photography. It's not real. How dare you? And blah blah blah. This is ruining everything and everything. Like
I was there for that.
I was there for that. Photo manipulation. Oh, and then they jumped on the whole body image, and they jumped. They always demonize technology. Technology is always demonized, always and forever. And I'm sick of it. I'm like, grow up. It's like, I understand that for some people they think this is going to ruin or be the end, or this is extra special threat to my livelihood. I'm like,
it's only the end if you don't take the time to learn
and it's only
new
the end
skills.
of you if you don't have loyal customers. And what did you do to cultivate loyal customers? Because it's not all about utility. People are not beholden to utility. If people only were beholden to utility, there are certain categories that Apple would have never been able to compete in. They're beholden to experience and to brand and to how they're treated and stuff like that.
Quality,
and there's people,
uniqueness.
and quality and uniqueness. This is not going to stop me from, like, the people who have done good work for me are still going to get good work from me. In fact, they're going to work less hard because I'm going to be less frustrating to work with because I will know what I want. And it also will inspire me to say, ooh, this is so good. I would have never thought of this. So you are getting 2 projects this month instead of 1, because now I'm excited about something. This is going to excite people who were not in the market for art to start even considering, like, okay, I only got so far on the AI thing. I wonder if somebody can do a custom job, or I wonder if I can get, okay, the only way to get print quality is to hire someone. Well, all I have to do is tell them to recreate this. There's so many people who are going to say, I need a print version of this, recreate it. Oh, you can't just click and upscale my thing? Okay, then recreate it. How much do I pay you? Because you don't have to come up with the idea. All you have to do is execute. Okay, cool. Here's a price. Here's work you were never going to get before. And it's easy because now you don't have to do any creativity. You're being hired as a technician. That is, by the way, the difference between a graphic designer and artist. A lot of times, it's a graphic designer versus a digital artist. So a graphic designer doesn't always have to ideate, and a graphic designer does technical, mechanical work a lot more. Graphic designers are paid much more for their technical expertise than they are for their creativity. I've been paid a lot of money just to recreate a layout in the proper program in a way that would be editable in the future. That's it. I had to do no ideation, no creation, nothing original. Originality is overrated, people, in terms of, and it's underpriced. It's like the real money is, in, frankly, many cases, being a technician. Not being creative. It's skills that creatives utilize, but their technical ability is worth more money. And people do not understand that, because theoretically, not everyone's good at it and not good at the execution of art, but plenty of people have good ideas, but they are crappy at the technical proficiency and talent to be an artist. Someone who has good ideas and technical proficiency will win more than somebody who's only one of either. However, technology allows you to some level to compensate for a deficiency in one of those areas. So what's happening is people who had an exclusive domain where they could execute on with no competition are mad that there's a way for people who don't have their ability to execute now. That's all it is. It's just people feeling less special. It doesn't have to undermine any of their livelihood because it's the feeling of being less special. It's not factual that they are. They still have the monopoly on their abilities. The thing is, there's now an alternative solution for people who don't hold those abilities. That doesn't necessarily undermine your value. You can go and compete at a higher level in the market anytime you please.
I think the important thing to remember is that nobody's stopping you from doing any of those things.
And again, there are new businesses to be had. People who get displaced are the people who don't adapt. If you adapt, you don't die. Like people who like, I'm selling all my film gear, I'm moving to digital. Those people were smart. Kodak didn't do that, and they built the photography industry. It's sad what happened to them. They lost their place. But that's because they refused to adapt. And you know why they refused to adapt? They're like, well, we have all these old masters that built their entire career on film, and if we make this move, they're going to be displaced. They're going to be fired. That happened anyway because you lost your ability to compete in the market.
And you know what,
It's
Roberto?
romanticism.
Right. Actually, that's a good segue into what I was going to say next, is that romanticism leads to another market of, it's a niche market of people who like nostalgia. We don't need records. We have Spotify. We don't we don't need film. But people like the look of film. And so we have Polaroid.
Yeah.
People like the sound of records. And so we still have turntables.
Yep.
And
I bought the vinyl 20th anniversary edition of Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory in vinyl. And I also got all the digital CDs, and I also got physical freaking mixtapes in it and everything like that. This is nostalgia. I own a boombox. I own a record player. Nostalgia. But those are now novelty items, but I pay more for them.
Right. So guess what, folks? There's still a market out there. If you don't want to
Exactly.
adapt, it's just that it's going to be a
But
little
you
bit
will have to
smaller.
present as a premium, because here's the thing. The people who know that they're
Right.
because by the way, the people who are charging the most for original artwork are
Mhm.
not threatened by this. I've talked to the people who charge the most. It's people who charge in the middle and at the very bottom that are scared. The people that talk for the market are, I'm not going to lose nothing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
think
people are like,
if
oh, well, easy for them to say. But it's like, okay, but I'm like, why are you playing at the bottom? Why
Mhm.
don't you have loyal customers? Why are you volume based instead of value based? What
Right.
That's a you problem.
Well, it's a shift. It's a shift. You have to pivot. And a lot of people don't want to pivot because they're set on their ways. And that's not a good way to run a business or quite frankly, a life.
The lower you price, the easier you are
Mm.
to replace.
Right.
That's something that creative people, I've been struggling to teach creative people this. The
Mhm.
lower you price, the easier you are to replace. You think you're all the business you're going to lose by 10xing your prices, you're going to do less work and make more money the minute you do that. You're going to lose 20 people and you're going to have 2 that make up for them.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be happier, do less work, do better work, work with less frustrating people, work with less people, and make more money.
Yeah. It's also important to note that the quality of your work has to reflect that as
It
well.
does, but here's the thing. You don't have to get 10x better to charge 10x more.
Right.
You
Not just the
literally,
quality of the work, but also the
yeah,
value that you provide. Like what is it that you're going to how are you going to position yourself in order to 10x?
50% better
Mhm.
qualifies you for somebody who plays for 20 times the stakes, which
Yeah.
means you can charge 5 to 10x more.
Yeah.
But just being 50% better. No one has to be Romina, I don't have to make if I Romina,
Mhm.
if I make 3 times the content,
Yeah.
I will make 5 to 8 times the money.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a
Mhm.
1-to-1. It's
Yeah.
like it will be multiples. It will be like that's what it is. Um because if I make 3x the content, yes, I will make more money on YouTube in ad revenue. But it won't entirely be linear. It will actually be more than just a 3x multiplier in the ad revenue. However, if I'm getting that much attention, it also means that I'm getting more book sales. I'm
Right.
getting more coaching calls. I'm getting more memberships. I'm
Yeah.
getting more of the so it's like so it's not linear, it's exponential because of its compounding effect, but
Right.
also the perception effect.
Right.
So that's just an example of that. But also in general, no one like I didn't get 10 when I stopped making $30,000 a year and I started making 300,000 a year, I
Mhm.
did not get 10 times smarter. I did not get 10 times faster. I did not get 10 times better at anything. I got at best like 75 to 80% better and more effective at any of the things I was doing. There's a few things that I got twice as good or twice as fast at,
Right.
and that produced a 10x return.
Right. But you made the changes required.
Right. I made the
Right.
changes required, but that's the thing. I also pivoted from, oh, here's me at the lower playing at the lower levels.
Mhm.
Here's me playing at the higher levels. What was
Right.
required for the higher levels though? More speed, this thing not even more, just more, not even more sometimes, just different.
Right.
Different is better than better a lot of times.
Mhm.
And that's the difference. Because remember, even with this, we talked about how to adapt it into your thing to make different better than better. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's not the I'm abandoning traditional art. It's like you can use this to supplement your digital traditional art. You can use this for art direction, ideation. You can use this for time, productivity. You can use this to get approval from clients on concept and then move faster because most of the time wasted with clients is in the ideation and conceptual process. It's in the damn art direction that the time is lost.
Yeah.
Clients don't know what they want until they see it. This gets you there faster.
Yeah. And isn't it great when you get a client that actually knows what they want?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Facts. So again, my goal is to teach people to use this as a supplemental tool. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to replace you if you don't want it to,
Right.
but it can replace the biggest time waste in your workflow.
Yeah.
Templates do that too. Presets did. People, oh, you're not a real colorist because you use presets. I still got the same results as you, and I wasted less time and charged the same amount of money. Client doesn't care. Client wants results.
Bro, you are such a meme right now. With your little like coconut water. Just spitting nugs.
It is what it is. It be what it be. I think it's a good place to end it, don't you?
Dude, yeah. I don't think I can top whatever you just did. I'm going to clip that later.
All right. Yeah, make it happen. Thank you for listening to the Know Something Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. Tune in next week. Well, maybe not. We'll tune in whenever we go live again with another exciting topic. This has been the Duo signing out. Please like, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll catch you next time. Nop.